birds came and joined me here just moments before I pressed start. Hello, hello, you beautiful souls. You beautiful, magnanimous, like, just so gorgeous in your essence, little souls. You're not little at all, but man, you might hold perceptions that don't allow you to express yourself in your infinite nature. In those that are really interested in finding out what it means to discover thyself, what it really means. Confirmation. Yeah. And so what I was talking about before I clicked start, I'll be discussing here in just a moment, but I do want to just thank each and every one of you. Thank you for either consciously making efforts to connect with me, or, and you know, for whether it may be positive or negative, who knows what, whose eyes will be watching. That doesn't matter. If somebody's judging the words I'm saying, if somebody's criticizing the words I'm saying, if somebody's degrading or belittling or trying to downplay the value of the content that is shared through me, because that's really what's happening. It's being shared through me. And I really haven't had a lot of opportunity in my other platform to talk yet about, I think, you know, again, on both platforms, talk a little bit more about, you know, some of the beginning stages of my journey. And there are people out there that could probably relate to some of that. Some people may feel like they're well past that in their journey, you know, because the beginning phases of my journey are similar to the beginning phases of a lot of others. Through a trauma, you experience a major trauma in life that kickstarts your spiritual journey. And, you know, being able to talk more a little bit about that in detail. What was my driving force to continue to stay obedient and to stay committed to our Holy Father in heaven, to God, my walk with God the last 6 years. I mean, this is kind of a big deal. My whole life has changed tremendously because I said yes to God. The day I committed to God. So what's happening here is I'm like, you know, coming out of the spiritual closet, I guess, you know, because I really haven't really talked about it in that way before. I mean, I have, but I mean, do people really understand the levels of wisdom that I have gained to be able to benefit others and be of service of others? I have went into the depths of hell and back for a reason, so I can help others. And now I am holding God's light, God's love so intensely throughout every fiber of my being that I'm given the green light and the thumbs up by God, saying, now you need to come out in front of people and start talking about all the lessons that you've learned in your unique way that you do it, and hold my light and shine my love. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. Yeah, because now I see, right? I mean, forgive us for the things that we do not understand because we cannot see. What we cannot see is understanding, putting ourselves in a place of love, kindness, compassion, and understanding. Like, are those just words? Or do we actually hold them to our chest and treasure those words and live by those words? That everything you do, everything you think of, everything you decide to take action on, is it with love, kindness, compassion, understanding? Or is some of it based on fear? And so beginning to talk about like the very, very first, what was the kickoff to my spiritual journey? What happened? What traumatic situation happened that I deemed as traumatic at that time, which it really was. Like, I'm like, I deemed, no. I'm there like now. I could talk about it all like funny style. Like I can bring the funny goods when I like deliver to the audience exactly what kickstarted my journey. Now we can put it in a laughing matter. But back then it was so traumatic. It made like beyond traumatic. It was intense, man. I had a lot of weight on my shoulders because I had just given birth to my firstborn. A lot of pressure because I wasn't getting that much support from her father, right? Gosh, I hate it. I don't want to say that because then, I know his eyes. But he knows what happened. Come on now. I wasn't. And this is my story from my truth because he knows it's the truth. He's admitted it already. But nonetheless, let's not go there and open those cans of worms. But again, the beginning part of my journey was because of him. And hey, goodness, nobody's to blame, nobody's to shame, nobody's to be put down. Like now I'm talking about being able to put it, like to be able to describe my beginning, the very kickoff to what started me on my spiritual path. Now I operate as a spiritualist. Now I step into the leader, authoritative expression and energy, the Empress level of like, I've done the whole circle, many a times, right? I mean, but now it's like a major completion within. So we have like many circles to even create like a major completion. I just had, a major completion in my evolutionary growth as a spiritualist, as a leader, as someone who can assist any walk of life in some way, shape, or form. If I were to have a conversation one-on-one, and for those that are really authentic, that is. Again, we lie to ourselves all the time, so let's just take a few steps back here. Some people that might be drawn to my energy, they might be all like, hey, yeah, I'm all about this. And then I tell them some stuff, and they're like, no, I'm not about that. And because it's a lot of work, like this whole commitment and dedication and sacrifice that I have made these last 6 years. And nobody is going to understand it but me. Nobody has the, authority to cast judgment on my walk. My walk with the Most High. With God. However you want to perceive God. Now, again, there's so many eyes that are going to have an opportunity to watch this, and whether or not they believe in God, it doesn't matter. It was the most sacred moment to me, and that's the only recognition that really needs to be acknowledged. I answered the call. And I've been steadfast committed. God knew I wasn't messing around. I'm like, all right, God. Once I build that relationship with God and I can actually talk to God like that, like, all right, God. All right, so what's next? Because I've been through like a whirlwind of stuff, right? So immense. Okay, well, now it's time for you to start putting yourself out there. A lot more. Start talking about all the lessons and all the wisdom and all, and connect to source, connect to me. When you go to, and I pray every time I come live and connect with the eyes that could be watching this, and or past, present, future, whatever version of anyone might be receiving the message, the messages of which that want to flow through me, through connecting with the story that I had in the very beginning. So it was a very traumatic experience. I was down on hands and knees crying so profusely that I couldn't even move. Could barely lift my head. It was, such a traumatic moment that drew me to connect with God, because God was the only one that could answer my question that I had. Nobody else in my life could answer the question that I had but God. And I've never, ever, 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 ever had that situation play out in my life before. Never did I ever need to call to God to have God's opinion on what I should do. Never have I, but when I have a baby, a brand new child that I'm responsible for their well-being in all ways, mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, all the ways. I need God to answer this question because I got a baby now. And the question I had was, what should I do with her father? How am I supposed to handle him? Because I know what was happening. I knew that there was, again, I'm not blaming him. No. Come on now. I was never a victim throughout that process. I knew. My soul knew. The version of me that I'm talking about right now is my soul. The version of me that I wasn't connected to at that time that knew that I created this hardship. This hardship so traumatic that got me down on hands and knees and calling to God. That was a divine plan the whole time. I was always meant to answer the call, which I did, and I am not letting him down. And that's exactly my response. I called out to God. So, hey, was God calling me? Yeah, he was always calling me, but I didn't know that the phone was even ringing until I'm like, okay, I got to go to God with this question. What should I do with this child's father? Should I stay with him? Should I try to make it work out? Should I, what should I do? Because I know if I would have went to my mom, I know if I would have been to my best friend, if I would have went to anybody else, any counselor, they all would have said the same thing. Leave him. They would have said, get out of there. What are you doing? No, I'm just kidding. No, really, they could have easily said. I wanted God's response. Because I'm now responsible with the child. Now, at that time, my spiritual belief was, I already messed up. Because I had a baby out of wedlock. And I'm like, isn't that because at that time, just want to give you an idea of what my relationship with God was when I called. Because I didn't even know if God was going to answer. I had no idea. That's why I gave God an ultimatum. I said, God, if you answer me, I will do anything. I will do whatever it takes. I promise you, I will do anything and whatever it takes. I said that over and over and over. If you can just answer me this, what am I supposed to do? I am now caring for a brand new child, and it could be that her father and I may split right now. What is this all about? What do you want me to do? That's the reason why God could only answer the question, because it was my baby involved. I know all the other parties would have, kept that in their heads too, right? But I wanted God's opinion. Because I knew how to handle a toxic relationship by means of seeing other people handle toxic relationships. So if God wanted me to stay in a toxic dynamic, I would have. But lo and behold, not long later, God said, you gotta go. Oh man, really? I really have to walk away? That was so hard. In that process, I didn't have a choice. Then the guy really pushed me against gently against my back against the wall a little bit. But you really have to walk away. It's not going to get any better with his presence there. It's only going to hurt you more. So I had to do what I had to do, and I understand why, because I was in a position where I kept trying to prove my worthiness of being trustworthy you can trust me with anything and everything that's going on in your life. You can trust me with all the, pain and trauma that you experienced throughout your life that you've never mentioned. You can trust me with all the stuff that I know is a part of you. But at that time, right when I first answered the call, I had that in my mindset, but would that have really been reality? Because the only kind of love that I knew how to experience in my life up until that point was codependent love. I didn't know what unconditional love was. I thought I did. I mean, I loved way unconditionally the best I could. I was a really good lover, really so extremely loyal. I mean, I was a real deal chicken meal even before my awakening. Now I'm like, I'm the queen now. If anybody steps into my arena that wants to be able to, spend time with me intimately, like, hey man, you're gonna have to treat me like a queen and you better be authentic. Don't be bringing no fake goods over here now, because I can read right through now. That was part of the reason why I wanted to commit. So I'm like, I am sick and tired of being lied to. I just want to know the truth. I don't need to reprimand anybody for the truth. I just want to know it. So I can act accordingly then, If somebody's not telling the truth, it's because they don't know how to be honest with themselves. It has nothing to do with them. It's not that they're a bad person. Not you need to judge. Nobody's a victim. It just means that they don't know how to see that they're worthy of love. So they're going to show you in different ways that they don't feel worthy of love. By not, by acting out in different ways. And that's one of them. So, the journey that I have taken on this path, in this walk with God, is so sacred. And me being vulnerable to share that story with everyone. Anybody that comes across this, past, present, future. And what does it mean to step into the, label of a spiritualist, a label of spiritualist? What does that mean? That means I've done nothing but commit to getting to know my soul. It's through the bridge of my heart, which is my soul, to be able to connect with the Most High. To build a relationship with the Most High is through my heart. And what is so amazing is the Most High has strengthened my heart so much to hold so much love that I need to step out onto the public platform that is appropriate for the moment or whatever, for me to express all of my love to you, because you guys have no idea how worthy you really are. Like, yeah, because I discovered my worth, now I see everybody's worth, and they need to know. You guys need to get it clued in to knowing exactly how amazing you are. Because I have been just mind blown. Like, I started seeing myself through the eyes of God, and I was like, holy crap, God, you love me a lot. Like, wow. You favor me a lot. Does that mean I need to favor myself a little bit more? Does that mean I need to, once I saw, who's myself in the eyes? Is there a difference here? And why is there a difference? Should we not always see ourselves as if we're looking at ourselves through the eyes of God? Shouldn't we always? And if we're not, why aren't we? And what does that mean to us? Everybody's got a different explanation. Everybody's got a different relationship. Everybody's got a different story. And that is the most beautiful, most magnanimous part about people, is they have the free will to choose whatever experience they want to experience in life by choosing whatever beliefs they want to believe in, by choosing whatever perceptions they want to have. That's their gift to this world, is to be unique in their expression, be unique in their identity, and hope that they can weed through the illusion of what they're not so that they can get to the truth of all that they are. And that's the, sacred aspect of which the wisdom that I've gained is now building a better relationship with my soul, because now I know I am so, so we were talking about confidence before, and what does confidence mean? Well, confidence absent ego. When you know how to step in your authority of all that you are and all your truth and all your, authenticity, that's that purity, that innocence, that expression, that energy is going to benefit other people. And when they're talking about the lessons that they learned in a way that's, funny or goofy or, serious or whatever it takes to be able to hey man, this journey I've been on is rocking awesome because of this, this, and this. And I am doing the work still, right? I mean, we're always, it's never ending thing. It's a never ending thing. It's a never ending thing. However, I've stepped into now the leader teacher aspect where I can help everyone out there. There's not a soul out there that I wouldn't be able to help. All I would need is your permission to be able to connect to your soul, which my soul has the ability to do, the authority. I've been granted that authority to be able to connect that intimately with people. All I need is their permission. And I will be able to give them information that will help them. If they are being genuine and authentic, like I said, most people are walking around not even knowing that they're not being genuine. They haven't a clue, because that was me. I didn't have a clue that I wasn't genuine. I had no idea I was walking around with this mask. The only mask I wore was, hey, I'm not able to love you because you did me wrong, or you did me wrong, or you did me wrong. All my past boyfriends, they couldn't commit to me. They couldn't, put a ring on it. They couldn't get the job done, right? And I wanted to judge them for it, but I realized everything didn't work out for a reason. I was ready to move on. Again, it wasn't like I hold a grudge like for everything. I forgave the whole situation and forgave, I always forgave. But when I realized there is more levels to that forgiving, that's when I started growing, like, immensely, because everything is always a reflection of me. The only reason why I chose men that were non-committal in the first place was because I didn't feel worthy of love. So I picked men that were non-committal, couldn't get that job done, right? Lo and behold, it was because I was lying to myself, thinking I was loving myself when I wasn't. I was self-sacrificing all the time. Over-loving, over-giving, over. I would lose my identity in the relationship because I now identified myself as the relationship. Not good. That's not good. That God says, no, that's not showing yourself that you love yourself. I go, okay, so that's why all that didn't work out, because I didn't know how to love myself. Oh, wow. Gosh, ego does not like that. The ego, he does not like hearing that. The ego's like, hey, I've done everything I could to show that you have value, and then now you're identifying an aspect of you that wasn't valuing yourself. Anyway. The identity through the eyes of our ego, the identity through the eyes of our soul. Are we connecting with ourselves in a spiritual way to identify through the love of our heart? Our soul is our spirit. So I've been doing major soul growth work to be able to walk a soul-driven life, a soul-purposed life. What is my purpose? It's now I'm meant to help another. I'm meant to help another, and another, and another, and another, in a great big way. If they want it. I mean, just sit here and listen to me speak the love that emanates through my lips. Pure unconditional love for all eyes watching, whether or not you support me or don't support me. It does. I don't need, I don't need the, I don't hold an expectation of how anybody's going to receive me. That's not my responsibility to hold their energy, if they're going to be accepting of me or non-accepting of me. That is not my burden to carry. And so I give this message authentically so that you hear it. You hear it being spoken in a way that understands. You may perceive it in a judging way or not judging way. That I leave that space for everyone to have that free will to choose how they want to receive the information or not receive the information, or reject or approve the situation, or judge it, the judge the experience, whatever it may be. That is their free will, and that space is just empty to fill whatever wants to be filled. There is no expectation. There's no assumptions. I just am being I'm being asked to share my journey now, and be able to talk about it in a way that's going to be able to benefit others. And there's so many different ways to say, to speak on my journey, because now in this expression, in this form, I have related to the word God more so than I have in many other videos. And that is primarily because I know that some people that are watching may not believe in God. And that's okay. I don't want their ears to get turned off because they don't relate to that belief. Although it's my belief, although it's my understanding, because it's just, it's a contrast, because we live in a world of polarities. So you got the dark and the light, so you got the evil and the heaven, right? Again, the polarities, all of the polarities, light and dark, and night and day, and shadow and love, and or fear or love. Again, there's polarities. So, but nonetheless, I didn't know how to balance out my own yin and yang, my masculine, feminine energies, and both masculine and feminine energies need to be balanced individually. So you got your darker side masculine, your lighter side masculine, your darker side feminine, your lighter side feminine. So you have 4, different perspectives of you that you could be angling in, and it's about finding that balance between two, so that way your masculine and feminine together can spin, freely, and, at a higher rate of speed, more harmoniously, synergistically, in alignment with, more direct relationship to all that you are. And your expression is an expression of infinity. Your expression is an expression of limitlessness. Your pure expression is an expression of abundance and peace, and all of the beautiful aspects of life, of which that we don't find ourselves most often, because we're dealing with karmic cycles that we're not learning lessons through, because we're not walking into our soul purpose, or living a soul-driven life, serving your soul now. And your soul is not scared to do things. It's just the human aspect of you that is. And so your soul may be asking you to do things that scare the crap out of you, which is exactly what happened to me. I've been challenged to do the exact opposite of what most people think I should be doing. And my walk is now telling me that it's time to be able to step into that position, to be able to help others in a monumental way. It's been like that for a hot minute now. It's just the human side of me was like, should I go now? Should I do it yet? Should I start talking to people? Should I start, am I at that level to which I really can be effective in their life? And I know that without a shadow of a doubt that I'm going to be able to help them. Because I'm not going to step into that position until I know I've done all my work. So I work very closely with God to make sure that I am in a position that this is exactly what I'm meant to do next. Because I've invested so much time and work into myself. It's unbelievable. Like, I did not let God down. I did everything He asked me to do. Making all the sacrifices, and they're never a sacrifice. I'm just being obedient. I was very obedient. Still am. To all the things that I committed to do and go through. It's like, I didn't know what it was going to lead to. I didn't know that it was going to be me stepping into a position where I'm going to really be able to help people in a big, big way. All walks of life, no matter what beliefs that you hold, I can help you. Like, without a shadow of a doubt. Now, again, these are people that are ready to say yes to themselves. If they're not really ready, then they might be able to ask a question, random question, and have it be like, okay, well, I'm going to give you what. I mean, again, anybody that talks to me, it's going to be easy. It's going to be really easy. What is it what decisions are we making based off fear? Most of the times people have questions surrounding something that could scare them, or is scaring them, or something that scared them in the past, or whatever, And because it's scary, they're indecisive. They're not sure how to handle it. So I can remove the fear, abstract the fear, to get to see the clarity of it, to see it clearly myself. And that mirror reflection of clarity within me can be relayed to you in a way that'll help you discover it on your own. Because this is all a self-discovery. This whole path is. I'm talking about my self-discovery moments of my walk with and commitment with God. And that's because that's exactly what happened. I'm not letting you down. I don't care what I got to go through. And I went through a lot. A lot. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's not even go there. There is a specific message that wanted to be spoken here. And this is about our soul. And this is why I talked about the beginning part of my awakening, is because swinging it back around, because our soul wants to be recognized. And those that haven't like befriended their soul, this is what I was speaking about before I press play. Like, this is another perspective to look at this when you talk about getting to know thyself better, is to befriend your soul. Like, again, when I answered the call from God, what is the word that God said? God had said, are you ready to choose you now? Finally. Are you finally ready to choose you? Finally ready. Those were the words, finally. Are you finally ready to choose you? Now, I didn't know that's what he said. He could have actually, I said this earlier. He said, jibber jabber, and I don't got a gobbledygook. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do whatever, anything it takes and whatever it takes. Because I don't know what the heck you responded. I just know that you heard my cries. And that was where I made the ultimatum, right? I think I had mentioned that. I gave God an ultimatum, and that was, hey, if you can tell me that you heard my cries, that were desperately asking for guidance, if you can respond to me, then I'm going to do whatever and everything it takes. Because at that point, at my level of consciousness, I hadn't built a relationship with God. I didn't know what to anticipate when I cried out to God, because I never ever had to in my life before. This is the first time in my life, everybody, that I had, to tell everybody that is like, maybe they don't know that I didn't know what it meant to have an intimate relationship with God. What does that mean? I called right out to God with my question. I didn't go to Jesus. Although Jesus helped me a lot in the beginning of in the very beginning of my awakening, Jesus helped me a lot, still helping me a lot till to today. But again, I leaned on Jesus a lot in the beginning. When I couldn't hear God, I'm like, all right, Jesus. Like, what would you do right now? How would you handle the situation? Anyway, so yeah, and I have to circle back around with the answer to the call to God, and he could have said jibber jabber, but once he responded back to me that he heard me, I was like, oh my God. And it was so clear as day. It wasn't like, did God hear me? Did God not? And it was like frozen. God spoke. He heard me loud and clear. And I was like, oh my God. I realized we're never alone in this life. If God heard everything I said, we're never alone. Even though that was part of my major dilemma, was I was starting to feel all alone. Because I couldn't go to my normal resources to get the information I needed. And I felt alone in that. And I had to call out to God to get the answer. And I did. And it's been the most transformative experience. I mean, it's been the biggest blessing ever. Every single day I'm waking up and I'm like, did you know that I am so blessed? Like I'm waking up, I'm like just in awe. I'm like awestruck by how blessed I feel. Every day I'm waking up that way. I never before woke up thinking, hey, man, this is a blessed day, or I'm blessed, or whatever. No. I was just like everybody else, fighting the good fight, right? No, I wasn't the thoughts of like, wow, I really feel blessed. Now, of course, a lot of people on the outside would be like, well, why wouldn't you feel blessed? You've had an opportunity to walk and build your relationship with God on an intimate level because of what is supporting you to be able to do that. What are the forces at play that are allowing you to walk with God right now? And there are some major players in there. And those players will be highly rewarded. Not in the way that they think. I mean, obviously, it's also in the way that we think. Because there's not anything in my life that I take as an expectation. Everything is a gift, including those that are allowing me to now provide an opportunity for me to be able to help others and be of service of others and step into that expression for people to know that I'm here. Like it's just letting people know I'm here. Because the people that resonate with my energy, they will understand when we connect, like how healing my energy is, how I can help them heal themselves. Like people, they have no idea how powerful they are. And so because I've been on this self-healing journey, self-awareness journey, self, it's really like just constantly rebuilding the identity of self through the eyes of the Most High, right? It's perceiving self against everything else, and that is ever evolving. So every single time that I come on here, there's going to be different layers of consciousness of which that I'm speaking at. Always, the highest expression, always wanting to tune myself into the energies of which that are going to resonate with people to help them in the most uplifted way, to be able to allow the vibration of my voice to carry that frequency of pure unconditional love at all times. And I do pray, God, please anoint the tongue of which that I speak these words to the collective, these words to anybody listening, because that's the whole purpose of making this shared information and this shared moment of connectivity, to be able to uplift the ears of which that is listening. And a lot of times, though, the words that want to come out are very, very truthful. And sometimes the words, that light, that mirror is back to people. They have a tendency to not like, their ego gets triggered, right? Our egos are always getting triggered by others. That's how we give our power away to people. Anybody that bothers you in any way is just a reflection of you, an aspect of you that needs to be identified, because you're always seeing back in others what it is that you might not be seeing in you. And so if there's something you don't like in somebody, there's something you don't like within yourself. That's the whole point. Anybody judging somebody else, putting them down in some way, all that means is that they just haven't had an opportunity to see how they don't like themselves in some way. That's all it is. Our judgment on others is merely just a judgment of ourselves, as within, so without. So when we start doing the work on ourselves and we start understanding ourselves for all that we are, we're no longer judging ourselves. We completely remove the judgment of self. Many a times the ego doesn't want to take accountability for how we're judging ourselves. Many a time our ego does not want to take accountability for judging ourselves. And so it covers it up by giving it some explanation, some reason, and it's blind to us at that point. Our mind is like, okay, now I have a justification. So because I have justified, we're good. We don't need to revisit this. And in actuality, that buried, perspective, it's time to bury this information because we've healed it with a justification of some sort. We're not really seeing the gift that it has to offer, the real gift that it has to offer. And the real gift that it has to offer is a soul growth opportunity. And I'm just like out of my right eye because I got this blanket covering up so that it wasn't too bright before. I think I could probably take that down now. As the sun is setting and there's some clouds that appeared in the west. So I'm just trying to get that. But bringing it back to our soul just wants to be recognized and acknowledged and befriended. And if we haven't deliberately, intentionally, consciously made that decision in our life, why not? I mean, people always want to blame time. The absence of time. And this is why this is one of the reasons why I'm so blessed, is because I've been granted the time. Because God asked me to invest all my time in Him and my baby girls for the last 6 years. All of it. And what was he training me for? What training grounds that was laid out before me the last 6 years to be able to then step into exactly what I'm meant to step into, to be of service to others on a soul mission. My soul has a mission. I wasn't walking a soul-driven life before because I didn't know what it meant to do that. Now I understand how to see my eyes, or see my eyes. And this is what's interesting, is because I was talking about the mirrored reflection before. Who's looking through the eyes anyway? But through seeing me through the reflection of God, right? The beauty within me, the infinite expression of me within the boundless, no limit, no barriers, no restrictions. Love is limitless in its expression. There is no cap to love. And so the pathway through your heart, through your soul, through that which is greater, however you perceive that which is greater, you'll be able to find the answers within there of what your soul came here to learn. And sometimes we want the human aspect of ourselves that's disconnected from our soul, that hasn't befriended our soul, wants to make decisions that are completely against our soul's desires. And then when that happens, you're trying to swim upstream on like a major rapid type, schedule 5 rapids, type of swimming upstream. You're not going to go very well. You're not going to go very far. And again, living, what it means to live into the expression of your most beautiful aspected self. What do you look like as your most beautiful aspected self? What does that look like? Does that mean that you're completely exuberated and being able to share your energy with others because you know that the love is a never-ending source that you have access to? You don't need anybody in your life to be able to feel the love that exists, that is within you, ever present within you at all times. But we just feel detached from that expression of love within us. We feel unbalanced and we feel worried and concerned and fearful. So that's the whole point. A lot of us are struggling with how to manage our emotions. Anyway, that is beautiful. So really understanding what it means to step into that role now. It's such a blessing. It's such a gift that I've been, experiencing very celebratory moments with Spirit because of the position I'm at now, to be able to really be able to know without a doubt that this is exactly where I'm meant to be, and what I'm meant to do is be able to be of service to others, to be that missionary, to spread God's love. I mean, this is a moment to really understand that God gets the glory at all times. The only reason why I've been able to even have an opportunity to transform myself is because of the love of God. My agreement to God, I didn't understand at the time, but God wanted me to shine God's light through me, through my vessel. The brightest that I possibly can, and I am not going to let him down. Ever. Again, I made that commitment, and hey, when I make those commitments, I'm loyal. So loyal. So loyal. Now beyond loyal. Before, my perception of self, but not misunderstanding myself a little bit, not knowing my value before. Knowing how to honor myself, knowing how to love myself, knowing how to see what it means to really invest in my transformation. You know, what opportunities have been presented before me in my immediate experience so that I can catalyze on that, so I can capitalize on that, so I can discover my gifts, so I can really be of service to others in a monumental way. And now I can. Now I know exactly what it is that's going to really, really, you know, land home for some and not for others. You know? And that's okay. Again, that's exactly how it's meant to be. Every walk of life has their beautiful opinion on everything, whether it's entrapped with fear or, you know, completely, you know, undeniably unconditional love. And I honor everybody's free will to choose whatever they want. That's the whole point. There's not enough people that hold that light of perspective. Everybody wants to judge one another, even if they're like not acknowledging it on the outside, but deep down they're like, hey, that person should be doing that, or that person shouldn't be doing that, or that like we're always judging other people without even realizing that that is just a reflection of ourselves. Anytime we judge anybody else or want to judge anybody else for anything, it doesn't matter if their color, their race, their age, their weight, anything on the outside physical, come on now. You know, like, again, it's all about the reflection of ourselves. And this keeps wanting to repeat itself over and over and over and over and over again. That people aren't understanding that everybody's projecting onto other people how they see themselves. And if they're judging you in some way, it's just because they're judging themselves. It really doesn't have anything to do with you. And this is the whole point. This is why it's such a major, you know, gosh, it's so beautiful over there. It's such a major lesson. And I just want to take this time to be able to make a little prayer for the day and night to come. Thank you for the beautiful day that we had, and thank you for the beautiful night to come. I am open to receiving all the blessings within every passing moment. I am ready to expect the unexpected in every passing moment. I want my vessel to hold the light as bright as it possibly can in every possible moment. I love you. Amen. And those are little prayers that I like to say as the sun sets. I love sunsets. I love sunrises too, especially this morning. It was a beauty. But I'm so glad that I had this opportunity to share this with you, to be able to connect with you and let you know, like, more on an intimate level, those that may know me closely, a little bit more closely, exactly where I made the commitment and why I made the commitment and what has been happening with me, because I've been in hermit mode. I've been and I don't think anybody really understands that this has been all about my walk with God. Like, I don't really even think like that people really know this. This is why I'm coming out of what's called like the spiritual closet, because I really haven't talked about it in such a way that's so monumental. That is a monumental moment and a very sacred moment for somebody in their life when they begin their walk with God. Very sacred. Nobody has the authority to say anything about it. Nobody. It's my walk. Confirmation. And so it's been hard. I can tell you, it's been the most tumultuous experience in my entire life. Little did I know that when I was answering the call to God, that means I'm going to have the worst experience in my life. Who knew that? I didn't know. I didn't say, hey, I'm going to do anything and everything it takes, and then not be dealt with a whole bunch of abnormally crazy, ridiculous type experiences of like trauma. Like it could be trauma, but you have to elevate through that. You got to learn that you're an alchemist through it. Like, so I was receiving challenge after challenge, abnormally difficult challenges based on those that are operating as opposing forces in my life, those that have been operating as the opposing forces in my life to act as that catalyst, to be able to show me what I needed to see within me, to love all of me. because it's all been about me. God says, are you ready to finally choose you? It's like, okay, so I'm going to show you some experiences that are going to trigger you in ways so that you can learn more about you. And they're going to be really difficult. They're going to be really challenging. They're going to be above and beyond ridiculous, because you just so happen to have a gift of alchemization that you don't even know that you need to activate. So there's going to be extreme levels of opportunity to have opposing forces against you to try to take you down in every way, shape, or form in your life, that you're going to understand how to alchemize that energy and use that energy as fuel to be able to transform yourself. And that's exactly what I did. I used the energy, the major opposition. There are faces upon faces upon faces of people that I have never met my entire life that know all about me. What? I mean, okay, not because of the channel either, right? Right? Not because of that. And again, it could be a number of different things, but again, a lot of those viewers right now are really, it could be objectively, possibly categorized as the opposing force. If they haven't shared a truth with me that they feel like they need to share a truth with me, or have a desire to share a truth with me, or they want to never ever have me know the truth, one of those people, they might, have played a role in my life recently to help me identify the gift of what alchemization really is to turn hate into love. That is a superpower. I had no idea that I had this ability to be able to do this. People are coming as an opposing force. They send all this hate and negativity and try to affect my field. And it's like, as I was building a better, higher and higher relationship with God, and like in the love and the kind of love that it takes to fight that type of energy is intense. It is powerful. It is powerful because you're free. You're absolutely free. Nobody can attack you mentally, emotionally, physically, no matter how hard they come at you, when you are, exhibiting and exuberating at that highest frequency of pure Christ conscious, unconditional love. It's the highest frequency of love you can possibly imagine, right? It's not human love. And this is what I allow to emanate through my vessel, and that, is then shared with you. And that love is so forgiving, so understanding, so kind, compassionate, but very, 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 very wise. Wise. Love is wise. And a lot of people take those that are loving as naive. Like there's something they may not know. I mean, here they are all loving. There's something they must not know. And so they take that as a naivety, like some sort of like absenteeism, like, hey, where is your strength if you're only loving? Like, no, that is my superpower. Like, really, you're going to throw some hate at me? I'm like, with love, with the love. Like, I'm going to lasso that shit. I'm going to, like, I got this, like, I'm on it. You sending me negativity, I'm just like, peaches, 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 peaches. Like, I go into the bowels of peaches, love you, oh, peaches, peaches, peaches. Like, really, like, man, if those that are operating as opposing force in my life, if they are wondering what level of love exists through me, like, they would not even fear being able to walk up to me and tell me the truth. They would not fear it for a second. They would not fear it for a second, because of the kind of love that emanates through me. I have the power to alchemize that. Alchemize and transmute. This is what I wanted to spit out. Like, alchemize and transmute some of it, because the transmutation allows it. Anyway, I really wanted to come out that way, but yeah, no, really, in a second, just like that. Like, because I don't take anything personally. So what it is that they think that they're hiding that they don't want me to know is because they think that I'm going to take something personally, and then I'm going to want to, chastise them for what they've done wrong. And, hold them at the neck, right? Like, No, all I've been doing this whole time while they're sending hate is I've been alchemizing it and getting it cleansed by Mother Earth, and all the energy I've been able to, and oh my gosh, nobody knows how much spell work I've been through. Really, 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 really. This is a real deal chicken meal stuff. I have never, ever experienced this in my entire life, but because now I'm discovering myself as a spiritual being, I have undergone so much witchcraft from people. Oh my gosh. You have no idea. Like, I haven't talked about it. That's why you have no idea. So, okay, once they start talking about it, I'm like, oh my gosh. And people, you don't have to believe in that stuff. It came to my awareness, and I didn't have a choice of whether to believe it. It just happened. Like, I was exposed to it very early in the journey so that I can understand what it feels like to have the effects of somebody that's done a spell on you. And actually, from one aspect, again, but nonetheless, I had to go through that training, that spiritual warfare. This is nothing but spiritual warfare. Anybody and everybody that has been operating as my opposing force in my life in some way, shape, or form, meaning if the opposing force is somebody that is not able to speak their truth in some way, shape, or form, that is not on them. They just don't know that they're worthy of expressing their truth. Like, they don't want to be judged negatively. That's the only reason why people try to hide things, is because they don't want to be negatively judged by other people. I'm the last person to judge anybody. I'm the last person. This is why these people are the safest to be able to come to me and tell me some stuff. Hey, if you want something that you really need to get something off your chest, just come on over and tell me. I know it may hurt, but guess what? I'm an alchemist. I can handle it. I don't take anything personally. And that's God's honest truth. This is why I'm able to handle the truth. This is why in the beginning of the walk of my journey, I'm like, all I really want to do is stop being lied to. I don't want people to be able to pull the wool over my eyes anymore. I really want to be able to see the truth. And now I can read energy so well that nobody can hide. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can see everything. Because I've now cleaned the vessel of within me to be able to have that mirrored back to me, that truth reciprocating back to me. If somebody is hiding things, I'll be able to pick up on it energetically, and it's not their fault. Nobody's ever to blame. And so that acceptance and that love and that understanding and that compassion and that, really relating to another person because they're just another version of me, understanding that we are only going to be able to unite once we understand that every single one of us has a unique journey, and we need to love each other for a uniqueness, that there's nobody identical to us. So we're meant to step into our authority on our unique expression. That's what it's all about, for becoming self-aware, intentionally and consciously making the decision to elevate in consciousness so that you can walk in higher light that's closer to God's light. That's amazing. And through that process, you're going to go through a lot of hard lessons that you can be able to share your story and impact other people's lives in a monumental way, because you took the fall. You signed up for the hard stuff so that you can really help others, which is exactly what I've done. I mean, I didn't know I was going to take the hard path. Otherwise, I don't know if I really would have answered God's call before. Seriously, if I knew I had to go through what I went through, oh my gosh. Seriously, people, it was tough. I haven't even been able to describe a little bit. And the severity of it all, right? It's it's mind-blowing stuff. It's what in the world? It's unbelievable stuff. It's the levels of it. Seriously, people are unbelievable. Anywho, the story of all of that is not necessary for the purpose of what the message that I'm really connecting with you at this moment. It's about me making the decision to commit to no matter what it takes. And so I have been dished a lot, and that's exactly was the point. That's what I signed up for, so that I could take an elevated path, because there hasn't been a day in 365 days times 6 that I haven't committed with my walk, to my journey, to being able to work on myself, so that one day I was going to step into whatever it was that I was meant to. I was being asked to have faith, being asked to be patient amongst all the judgment of other people that thought I should be doing something different, and all of the people that have chosen to speak lies upon my name. I have been faced with so much adversity within my immediate environment so that I can learn how to alchemize that energy and learn how to love every single one of them beyond imagination, beyond like what you can even perceive as real. That kind of love. That love that is like so endearing. Like I see their soul. Like and I said this in my last, my other platform, really. Once you see it in yourself, once you see the version of you that expresses all that there ever was, is, and could be throughout infinity, you are the limitless version of you. And when you step into more and more and higher expressions of what that really is, it's through your spirit, as your soul aspect itself, the version of you that is your higher self, if you want to perceive it that way. It's the highest expression of you that exists. What does that look like? And I mentioned that before. And it's important for me to be able to come on here and be able to express myself in a vulnerable way so that you can really have an opportunity to gain from the energy that's supporting the words I'm speaking right now. So you can gain from it. All the love that is being spoken through my lips right now, like literally I could just be constantly saying over and over and over again, I love you, 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 I love you. And that's what the vibration is through my words. Even if I'm talking about my story or I'm talking about like that is the energy behind it. It's like, I love you, I love you, I love you. Just so you know, this is how energetically impactful I am to people. Because I'm constantly vibrating at the frequency of I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Like I love you, I love you, love you, love you, love you. Do you know how magnanimous you are? Like I love you. like seriously, that's constantly what's vibrating through my lips as I'm speaking my story, as I'm sharing with you wisdom, as I'm like just telling you about my transformation, as I'm like, this is why it's important for me to press record. Because of that background energy constantly being sent to you. That love. That pure, unconditional love. And I am so, so blessed. I am so, so honored. I am so, so, grateful to be able to step into the position to be able to spread God's love, through my light and share it with you. So you can feel it. It's the goods, man. It's the goods. God's love is the goods. It feels really, really good when you know how to tap into it. It's really, really good. And then when you feel yourself overflowing with it nonstop, you're like this never-ending cup of overflowing love. That bird's just confirming the crap out of it. That message, of that truth. It's shining through. And this is what I meant to do, is get on here and talk about my journey, talk about my lessons, talk about how I can be of service to you in a monumental way for those that are just remotely serious. Just having a casual conversation with someone that they may be going through something, right? We're all going through something, but are we going through it in a way that we feel is responding in a soul-driven way, a soul-driven response? And a lot of times we're making decisions on complicated situations every day that is influenced and or supported by some sort of belief system that is founded on fear. It's founded on fear in some way. Usually we don't want to admit it. Our ego doesn't want to admit it. They're like, no, I'm not operating out of fear, but that's exactly what the soul is doing. It's connected to and I say the soul is doing it, the soul is waiting for the ego to stop having control over fear. And the soul is like, let's go. Let's start walking into your limitless self. Let's go. What does it mean to be fearless? That means you got to do the exact opposite of what humans say is the right thing to do. Go. That's what your soul says. And then you have to really build your faith. What does it mean to have faith in the ultimate plan? How long do you have to stay committed to sacrificing what you think you need to sacrifice because other people are judging you? It's really, really the process of learning how to remove judgment from yourself when you're in a position to make decisions that allow others to harshly judge you. What they think and feel is appropriate. And I've been doing nothing but sacred work this whole time. This whole time. And it has been work, people. If I could go, okay, I'm going to go into detail sometime, all right? How much work does it take? Yes, a lot. Again, there are 365 days times 6 was me. Dedicated like a mofo. I ain't quitting. I ain't stopping. I ain't, no. Do I have to take a few steps back? Oh, yes, I gotta take steps back. We all do. You don't wanna. It happens. To learn everything you need to learn, and it feels like steps back, but it's really all it is. It's just that cyclical, going around and around for you to revisit different things and make sure you really cleared it out. Have you really cleared it out? So I just ended a major cycle. I just ended a major lesson. That's what this cycle is represented by, is the lesson that was learned recently. And be able to come on here and share my energy with you is the most sacred, most, honored thing I could possibly do in this here and now moment, is to share my energy with you for the ears that are listening. Whether or not you support me, whether or not you agree with me, whether or not you, feel the love that's inside of me that just won't stop coming out, whether or not you want to deny that, or whether or not you want to accept it. That's, it doesn't matter. It's all rockin' awesome to me. And I feel blessed to, share my journey and share with you what it means to now be, I guess, the expression of a spiritualist. Someone who has committed my life and my walk to live a soul-driven life. And what does that look like now? How does that translate into everyday life? And how am I able to now utilize my gifts that I have discovered along the way to be able to be of service to others in a monumental way? And share with you guys how awesome you are. The love in me sees the love in you. I see all of you. Whether or not you can see it, I see it. And that's just how it's always going to be. So I love you. Namaste. Beautiful souls.